Yo! Video games. I didn't play Skyward Sword because I knew it was going to suck when I played the demo. So,
it's like, well, this is going to blow, so fuck all that.
I was like, okay, Fi's the Master Sword. I guess that's kind of a cool concept. And then I played the demo. Like, did you like it? I was like, I did not. These controls suck. The art style sucks. There's birds everywhere.
I think the art...
something about Hylians.
I like the art of Skyward Sword. It doesn't fucking translate well into the game at all, which is weird.
I just didn't like it.
I don't think the... I mean, my favorite art style is this art style.
Twilight Princess.
By like a country fucking mile.
Not a good. Not of these fucking shadow beasts just throwing down.
But yeah, I think the actual artwork for Skyward Sword's not bad. It's actually pretty good. It's just the game doesn't. It just looks like a.
This is the original Princess Zelda, or is this like a descendant?
This is a descendant. The original Princess Zelda.
I was gonna say, like, be way dead.
Fucking. I don't know, because again, I really don't count anything before Ocarina of Time as canon, and I don't care what Nintendo says, because when Ocarina of Time came out, they said this is the first Link in the first Princess Zelda.
Yeah.
And they just retconned it. No, this is the first Link in first Princess Zelda. Fuck you. You can't just keep saying that every time you want to build out for a new game.
I have a minor problem with, like, Ganon always being the bad guy.
He's not always the bad guy.
Yeah. He always seems like he's the bad guy. Like, they always reference him. And
he's the first bad guy. Up until they tried to throw in fucking Demise. Which, again, it's not canon, because I said so. Simmons agreed. If Simmons and I agree that something's non-canon, it's not canon. That's the law.
Well, it is that well,
that's the rules.
Aside from Four Swords Adventures, which fuck Four Swords Adventure, it's always the same Ganondorf.
But there are other villains.
There are other villains
in the series. They're usually used for like the less popular games.
Yeah.
The thing is now, if they're going with the timeline that they've developed, Ganon has now died in all three timelines.
Yeah, Ganon's dead in all.
Formally dead in all the timelines. Like in Wind Waker, he's that was the version where he was banished to the Sacred Realm.
Wind Waker's timeline C. He breaks out of the Sacred Realm.
Right. So he was banished to the Sacred Realm and eventually became powerful enough to break out. That's Wind Waker's timeline.
Yeah.
This one, he was he went into exile.
No, they tried to execute him.
Well, yeah, but he went into exile because this is child timeline. So Link went back and warned Zelda about this is what's going to happen if we take the sword from the pedestal.
Yeah.
We can't. And so Zelda, through some action, warns her father, convinces her father that Ganondorf's bad news, and his plan to open the Sacred Realm fails. So
they try to execute him.
Yeah, they eventually try to execute him some time later. Mm-hmm. The sages were never awakened, which is why they're all spectral in this one. And Ganondorf is executed, but through his death, he gets the Triforce of Power because destiny or some shit.
It's when Link went back in time, the Triforce had already been split. It's from, like, the way I call it the Three Wish Syndrome. Because of that point in time, like, Link basically has courage, Zelda has wisdom, and it's unknown to them.
She's not awakened.
And it's unknown to Ganon that he actually has the Triforce of Power. He
already has power. It's just,
and then he gets it when they try to execute him, and he's just like, oh.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, yeah, he gets the Triforce in this, and then they can't kill him, so they banish him to Twilight. Yeah. And then he eventually comes back, and in Wind Waker, he is killed. In this one, he is killed. Mm-hmm. And in the Fallen Hero timeline, which is a Link to the Past, he is sealed by the sages.
He's dead in that one.
Well, initially, though. He's sealed by the sages after Link is killed in the Fallen Hero.
Yeah.
And then later
he that's the imprisoning war.
Yeah.
Because Link dies, the imprisoning war happens, all these knights try to band together to fucking make this happen.
And the sages seal him.
Yeah, seal him away. And then Link to the Past eventually happens, and then he dies there.
Yeah, he dies.
And then the oracles, the Kumi and Kotaki, try to resurrect him, but they can't.
He's like an undead.
You get an undead one, and then he's actually just
a zombie.
A zombie. He's a zombie undead Ganon.
Yeah,
and it's the same. Actually, it's actually the same kind of shit in Zelda 1. They actually imply like they don't know if it's just like a zombified or mindless version of Ganon, or if it's just a monster.
But he's no longer Ganondorf.
He's dead. I mean, he dies in Link to the Past.
So now in all three formal timelines, he has died. Yeah. Because he doesn't die in Ocarina of Time. He gets sealed. And that's it. So it's kind of like they can't, unless they want to add more retcons, they can't realistically use Ganondorf anymore.
Well, there is a Ganondorf in Four Swords Adventure that's a new Ganondorf. It's not this guy. So you could technically say him, but I think he dies or something in Four Swords Adventure. Four Swords Adventure is like...
Was he like an impersonator? Or?
He's just a new Gerudo.
Huh.
He's a Gerudo, but he just...
But he's not the one from the...
No.
I thought there were no male Gerudo, by the way.
No, they're born every century.
Oh, they're born every century.
Yeah. Once 100 years, a male Gerudo is born in his...
And didn't he want... Wasn't the whole reason he wanted to, like, take over Hyrule was to, like, raise the Gerudo...
He sort of alludes to that in the Wind Waker, yeah. He doesn't really say anything like that in Ocarina of Time, because he's basically played as just this raw bad guy in Ocarina of Time. But in Wind Waker, they talk about more how he coveted, like, the green lands of Hyrule, because people were from the desert. Wind Waker did a good job of humanizing him, because you kind of understand now that he's envious of what his people aren't allowed to have. The only thing that's weird is that, like, once he gets Hyrule in Ocarina of Time, he does nothing to help his people.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, okay, did the power corrupt him? Did it make him not care anymore?
For this one?
No, in Ocarina of Time. In Ocarina of Time, he's one. Like, when you come in as an adult, he's one. He has Hyrule, but his people are still in the fucking desert. And all he's done is demolish Hyrule Castletown and make it look evil.
That's just the programming of the time, though.
That's true.
Like, they didn't have the means and memory on the cartridge to fucking drastically redo the entire world twice like that.
No,
that's
but
why
I mean, they could have done something with the Gerudo, but they didn't. They didn't, in the desert.
Just because.
He's just the king of evil.
Yeah.
So.
That's just how games are made, though.
That's true.
It's like, the only thing that really changed was Hyrule Castletown, and that's because it's a fucking JPEG background that you just have to change. And of course, like, the castle part, but whatever. That's like one little area. Changing Ganon's tower in Hyrule Castle is not nearly as drastic as, like, having to rethink the whole fucking layout of the world.
Right. But, I mean, you could have even made it so that Castletown wasn't demolished, that it just now belonged to the Gerudo, and had the Gerudo moved there. Mm-hmm. And that wouldn't have actually taken, like, extra...
Well, the other thing, too, is the other thing I think about it, too, is that I think they wanted to not make it seem like the Gerudo are just all fucking evil.
Right.
Like, if it's, just Gerudo here, like, they're bad guys. Like, they actually wanted to try to have this symmetry that not all Gerudo think like Ganondorf. And there was definitely people within the tribe that were definitely not on his plane of thought.
Yeah. The only problem with, like, the series villains is that they haven't made a good one besides Ganon. It's the same thing with Resident Evil. They won't make a good villain besides Wesker.
Yeah.
It's like if you make a new game.
Well, they never really go into Wesker's, like, reason for doing anything that he does.
Not till 5.
Yeah, they, like, otherwise, like, all the way up until then, he's basically just a generic bad guy who wants power.
But I think what this series needs, what Zelda needs, is a new lasting villain.
Yeah.
They need to quit introducing one-shot villains that are, said and done with in a single game. The thing is, and I don't know if it's just a cultural thing, but Japanese games seem to be really short-sighted. Like, they seem to think a game at a time.
Well, you have to, right? Because you don't know that it's going to do well.
But from a story perspective, Zelda's going to sell. Zelda has never failed to make its money back. Ever.
Yeah, Four Swords Adventure was a pretty big disappointment.
Four Swords Adventures, okay, but that's also a mobile game, and mobile games, they're a bigger gamble. But, like, if you make a main console Zelda game, it will be profitable. Unless the system itself failed, in which case, well, you done fucked up.
Like the Wii U?
But, like, if they
Wii U
quit
didn't
thinking,
fail, did it?
Like, think from...
It's not great.
From building-wise, sure, make a game at a time. But when it comes to your characters, you can think forward with that and think, okay, let's make a villain that you will defeat, but will still be around after this game, so that their plans can change, their plans can adapt, and they can advance and be a series villain instead of just here and done in a single game.
Ace was like, most of the Gerudo that were against Ganon were killed and turned into Iron Knuckles.
That is a theory. It's not confirmed, but, like, the thing is, when you see Iron Knuckles, like, if you look at the model of an Iron Knuckle, like in a 3D model view, if you've ripped it, you can see a Gerudo model inside it, which is where that theory gets a lot of strength, because it's like, it looks like a Gerudo clad in armor, pretty much. Not necessarily killed, but, like, Nabooru is brainwashed in Ocarina of Time to become the ultimate Iron Knuckle.
Yeah.
And once you break off all of her armor, she's free from the spell, kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's like it could be that like the Gerudo's best warriors are the ones who get turned into Iron Knuckles to serve Ganondorf because
There was
pretty fucking badass enemies.
There was actually a good theory about Arbiter's Ground in this one, about how it was the Spirit Temple turned into a prison, and that the Gerudos were all pretty much just made to build it.
Yeah.
You know, and then
because you see like the royal crest everywhere.
and then you see
Arbiter
Gerudo
Grounds.
markings on the walls.
Yeah.
Like they wrote it there and stuff. So this game's kind of got pretty dark. The only thing that Four Swords Adventure being in Timeline B works for is it basically establishes the fact that not all the Gerudo died.
Right.
It was just the ones in Arbiter's Grounds were probably all the ones that were against Hyrule on Ganon's side, and then the other ones moved and became nomadic in the desert.
Okay.
And that they're actually good in Four Swords Adventure. So I'm curious. I would like to see in Gaming Timeline B, because to me at this point, Timeline B is kind of like the proper timeline. And they've been making a shit ton of games in Timeline A lately. Well, I guess two, but
oh shit, that'd be cool.
and I feel like Timeline A is done. We've exhausted Timeline A. There's
Timeline
like,
A is Fallen Hero?
yeah, that's the Link to the Past, Oracle of
Yeah.
Ages, Oracle of Seasons, Link
Which
to
is actually like
Awakening.
has the highest number of good games in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Zelda 1, Zelda 2, I guess Triforce Heroes counts as well. Fuck that game.
New mainstay villain being Tingle, like a fucked up Joker. How fucking weird. Like, he's already kind of rapey. He already comes off kind of rapey.
I don't know, if it were me trying to come up with like a villain for the Zelda series,
You'd want a brand new character.
yeah, I would
fresh.
do a brand new character. I would have it have nothing to do with the Triforce, because like how much do you really need to keep like
Bashing that over the head?
Yeah, it's like we get it, we get it, and maybe have that there's other sources of powers, other things, like there are other things to covet besides the Triforce of power. Ditch the usual 8 dungeon formula and start doing something a little new. Like you still have your dungeons, you're not Zelda without dungeons and puzzles, of course, but do something new with the story that is.
It'd be cool to have a Zelda that's a true open world.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the new one is.
Oh, is it?
Well, maybe.
Like a Skyrim-esque open world?
Yeah,
That's what
it
they
is.
say. Like, I don't need to be able to freely play a good or bad guy to appreciate an open world. But, give me a little bit more free reign in what I'm doing.
Yeah,
Big-
and that's what they were getting at with Link Between Worlds, where they had like the ability to select the dungeons you go into.
Right. That's a rock. But I would do something where, like, perhaps you have an enemy who's less magic-based, because basically all of the villains in Zelda are magic users.
Well, that's so they can throw shit at you.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're gonna go with something new, go with something new. Have a villain who's less of a threat because he's a powerful magic user, and have a villain who is more of a threat because maybe he has an army, maybe he has a functional military.
Or maybe he's just a badass swordsman.
Yeah, maybe he's just a badass swordman. He's like a true foil.
Well,
to Link.
you could also do like a semi-boss or like a semi-villain that is like a sorcerer for a guy that's a foil Link,
Yeah. You still have your boss to throw shit at you.
Yeah, and it's like, you have to take him out before you can go after the other guy because he gives the other guy invincible armor or some shit.
Right.
That kind of thing. That'd be pretty cool.
General Onyx, you mean?
Fair enough.
That it does exist in Oracle of Ages.
And make a villain that lasts more than a game. He doesn't have
Yeah.
to last forever. He doesn't have to last 20 years of a series, but, give us a story that has some legs.
A wolf wearing a shield on his back is so cool for some stupid reason. Like, it's like a dumb, cool thing. Did you like Majora's Mask, Mike?
No.
So Hyrule is.
I like
more
the
of a
story of Majora's Mask. I do not. It's the same as Wind Waker. I like the story. I hate the gameplay.
Yeah. Again, I always ended up just watching my brother play most of these games. So
Majora's Mask actually has some of the coolest lore because it is so different from other Zelda games. I think I appreciate it.
well, there's a bunch of theories about it being like the stages of grief and like him dying and
Yeah,
him
but he's
being
not
like-
dead. It's like a cool theory, but he didn't die. It's canon that Link is still alive in Majora's Mask and comes back to Hyrule at the end and continues living and procreates. Like, he's not dead in Majora's Mask, no matter how much. Like, maybe the story is representing some of that stuff, which it can be cool.
Yeah, that could be a theme to it.
Yeah, but I mean, Link is very much alive in and after Majora's Mask. One of the coolest things I think in Majora's Mask is actually that you're actually going up against a god in the form of Majora. The entity possessing the mask is a god that was locked in the mask. And you don't even, I mean, I forget, in Majora's Mask, do you have to use the Fierce Deity mask to defeat it? No, it's optional, right?
Yeah.
Well, like, in the backstory, the Fierce Deity is another god, right?
Yeah.
Or like,
this part took Ruby 10 minutes.
Like, yeah, you're fighting a god, and you have the option to use another god, and the two gods were together once. They
used
on
to
the
be
same
all
side.
one. Oh, okay.
And they were, you know, they were allies, or they were on the same page. They were not
Fierce and Majora?
something like that. Yeah. There's some theory I saw online about that.
I don't think there's any correlation to them at all.
But it's like, yeah, you can use one god's power to defeat another. Now you don't need to. You can fight Majora and win without the mask.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. It's
That
like
is
if you
cool.
look at Ocarina of Time Link's backstory, like if you look at it progressively, he goes and fights Ganondorf, who has all this power, and he travels through time, and he sees that traveling through time actually fucks things up and makes it worse. And he has to go back and try to live life normally and let the, you know, Hylians deal with it themselves. And then he goes into Termina, by accident, while trying to find Navi, and he finds this other world that is about to be destroyed, and he can only save it by traveling through time repeatedly to save the world, and ultimately he clashes with and kills a god. And then he finally gets to go back to Hyrule and try to live his normal life, and it's like, that's actually pretty cool. That's some awesome lore.
Yeah, and like nothing else happened. Does anything happen to him in that timeline again after Majora's Mask? Like he's just a normal dude, and like he lives out his days.
Well, you know from this game that he does have a bloodline because he has descendants. So it's like eventually he settles down and, you know, gets laid.
He died with regret, though, that he was never able
he
to
dies
pass.
with the regret that he never passed any of his skills on to a successor. So either he died before he was able to, or he was disconnected from his family. One way or the other. He dies before he could train someone, like train his child or anybody. He never takes on a successor and teaches them.
When I was a
skills.
kid, though, I thought Zelda was his love interest.
Everybody thinks that because of the two main male and female characters. But there's really no push for romance in them.
No, there's
Ocarina
not.
of Time.
Well, no, when you go back as a kid, or when you go back now as an adult versus playing as a kid, yeah, it's pretty obvious they're not love interests.
Not really. No,
Yeah.
it's like there's more flirting from Malon than there is from Zelda.
Straight out of a Miyazaki film.
Yeah.
It's,
I thought the light spirit's really fucking awesome looking in this game.
it is really cool looking. What's that Miyazaki film? Fuck, it's one of my favorite ones, and I'm blanking
Princess
on it.
Mononoke.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. It's like straight out of that,
Yeah.
right?
It's awesome. I love the music in it too.
So far, I've loved the music in the game, and
This music's got a great soundtrack. Wolflink's like, what the fuck?
super bad. I 100% agree with your boss idea, Wesker. That's me.
Cool. Thank you.
He loses an eye somehow, so there are more battles. That's true.
I kind of think that judging by there's again lots of theories about like the hero shade, which is what they call Ocarina of Time Link in this game. But like you look at him, he is undead, he's skeletonized, he's wearing battered to shit armor. He is also covered in leaves. There's the rumor that the Kokiri tell you in Ocarina of Time that if you stay in the forest too long and you're not a Kokiri, you'll become a Stalfos. And he looks a lot like a Stalfos. And he's covered in leaves. And I don't know if I interpret that as like, if you just stick around in the forest, you'll just become a Stalfos, as much as if you die in the forest, you'll become a Stalfos. That's kind of the way I interpret it.
Well, that one guy who raised the blue cuckoo.
Yeah, but he just disappeared. You don't see him dead or as a Stalfos.
With the chick says, yeah, all who come in here become Stalfos.
Yeah, but she's also a fucking 10-year-old. She's a permanent 10-year-old. Just because she says it doesn't make it exactly accurate. I interpret it more that if you die in the forest, you become a Stalfos. But maybe, I don't know, I have a feeling that, like, obviously Link went through some battles. He's missing a right eye, even in ghost form. And his wolf form has a scar over his right eye to kind of seal the deal there. He's definitely missing his right eyeball. He has battered as shit armor. It's like you don't really know what the what the political climate was in
his
Hyrule.
shield
Like if there
kind
was
of
a
looks
war.
like the mirror shield in Majora's Mask.
A little bit, yeah. It's got like similar motifs and a very similar shape. His sword, even if you look at it, looks kind of like the Master Sword, but not really. It's more rough and it's more.
Well, you put the
straight.
Master Sword away, so it wouldn't.
Do you play most of this game as a wolf?
No.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a third of it total. Yeah.
Maybe a third.
Because there are parts later on. I mean, later you get the opportunity to switch back and forth freely.
Who would you guys like to see develop a Zelda game from Software or Platinum Games?
Platinum.
Platinum Games, obviously.
I have no opinion on
From
the subject.
Software is Dank Souls, but it's like they don't need to make a Zelda game because they already do. They just make Zelda 1 in 3D.
The gameplay in Dark Souls definitely feels like Zelda. Like if a Zelda game hated you. That's kind of what it feels
It's just
like.
Zelda 1, Zelda 2 again.
But yeah, with like Ocarina and After mechanics with the targeting and stuff like that.
What are your thoughts on Max being made into a barbarian and thrown into KI?
Max is the least barbarian person that I know.
Oh my god.
Because
Is that a real thing?
no.
Oh. I was gonna say that's fucking cool. He's probably amped as shit about that. But Max is like the least barbarian man I know. Like by a damn sight. I always laugh really hard when they do pictures of Max where he's like drawings Max where he's like beefed out and shit. Because like it would be so funny to see him that way. But also because Max has no desire to be that way ever. Like he fucking hates the idea of being that. Like
Being jacked and aggressive.
yeah, he does not like looking jacked. He doesn't like that at all. He likes skinny and just like I don't even know if you'd call it toned or anything. He just likes being skinny. Like that's like his whole thing.
Max has such a fucking high metabolism. He'd probably have to eat like 3 other Maxes just to get buff. to put on weight.
He would have he would have to start lifting weights.
He'd have to eat Simmons.
He would okay. He would have to burn a ton of body fat and then start eating around 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day
Like that.
and lifting for 2 hours a day minimum in order to put on muscle. Like you'd have to do it for 6 months to a year.
I actually
He'd put on 30 pounds of muscle.
In some of like the humor of like our Sesame stuff, I based some of like Wesker's metabolism because Wesker would have like a superhuman metabolism.
Yeah, he would.
Like I
Thanks,
based some of that off of Max because like how we can go out to dinner with Max and he'll have like a cocktail. And like at the restaurant, he'll be buzzed. By the time we get him back to his house, he'll be
have a
hungover.
hangover. Yeah.
And so I do that with Wesker. Like when we did our like Doom and Wesker watched the Resident Evil 6 trailer, and I get all drunk when I find out I have a son. And then like in the shot where it comes back, he's already like slumped over in like a hangover position. Like that was like an in joke, but like that's how quickly Max goes through alcohol.
Yeah, one margarita, he will be buzzed and silly and awesome, and then like 20 minutes later,
He's like, oh my God, I need
dehydrated
more.
and fucking hungover.
His metabolism is fucking ridiculous.
And Max hungover is like, it's the worst mood he can get in. He'll just be like,
just
stop
tired.
yelling.
He's
I'm
just
whispering
tired.
at you, stop yelling.
Max, we really got to film. We committed to filming. Yeah, but I can't. I'm dead.
So is this game based on the GameCube version or the Wii version?
It is based on the GameCube version. They said
Because meat is life.
Unless you go on, you said the super hard version?
it's flipped on hero mode.
Hero
But
mode, okay.
they said they based the game off the GameCube version. They said it in the Zelda retrospective.
So do you find this controller, like the tablet controller, comfortable?
Yeah. I don't have a problem with it. People are weird. They're like, it's so big or whatever. It's not like I'm not doing this.
The
like,
weird thing is I feel
my
like it
hands are
actually
from
sits...
here to here. It's like it's not. It's
Well,
It's kind of meant like if you're resting your
yeah,
hands
I
on
feel
your
like it
legs.
actually, like, it makes it easier to rest your hands on your lap.
it does.
Can
Yeah.
I feel it? I've actually not handled one open. I just
You
kinda-
don't want to do it on this part. Let me kill these things
Oh, yeah,
first.
I just kind of want to feel how it feels.
Because these
in my hand.
guys are gonna.
Do you want another
whack
beer
for
or anything?
2
You want
hearts.
water? You want?
So these guys are
I'll
one
another
hit
beer if
kills
you're out.
on me right
I
now.
don't want to be that guy who's drinking all your beers.
I'll do it.
I'm a little disappointed
Do you
I
want
can't
another
use
ginger beer?
Gandalf Amiibo until after I get my tunic.
Do you want a water or a ginger beer? I think you have one left. Oh, you got some. Alright, beer back.
If I get hit once, I'm dead.
Well, don't get hit. You good, bruh?
No.
I have to do this to activate this tutorial.
Right. You do the charge attack.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, to kill 3 at once. Because otherwise the last one there's so many.
You just have to kill the last 2 at once. Like, you know,
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's right. I remember now. But like, they don't group together until one of them is dead, I think.
Yeah. You can kind of lead them away from each other.
Yeah, but like if you try to do all three at once, like one of them will hang back kind of thing, right?
And they do tricky things where they put it behind walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing is not uncomfortable to hold.
Oh, it's super light.
I mean, the triggers, there's 2 bumpers and there's 2 triggers.
The only thing that sort of feels different, and it would just take a little getting used to, is that the analogs,
Both
like you're
of them
used
are
to
above.
Yeah, it's like the analogs are kind of far, like you're used to having analog controllers kind of right next to each other, which doesn't actually make a difference though.
No.
But like, I don't know, to me this feels pretty natural, especially if you like to sit like this.
Yeah.
Like you kind of forward with your hands on your legs. I don't have a problem with it.
I never did.
I don't know. I actually I don't have huge hands, but I have long thumbs, and I also never had a problem with the original Xbox controller. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's enormous!" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? This is great."
Shit,
the boat anchor. I never minded it.
it only works for,
I have long thumbs.
Halo.
I have long
Game
thumbs.
it works for.
I mean,
So what you're saying
who
is
played anything else on Halo?
What you're saying is you're a well-hung lesbian.
I am a well-hung lesbian. But I have the same thing with like Berettas and Desert Eagles. I have no problem gripping because I have long thumbs. Everyone's like, I can't reach the safety. I'm like, ha ha! No problem. I love Berettas. It's the most comfortable gun in my hand. And Desert Eagles are just ridiculous. They're overkill. Find the insects of darkness.
So as you can see,
Speak!
there's less insects now.
Oh my god, yeah. Like, half as many? From my recollection?
It looks like half, but I want that.
This was the part where I'm just like, I just want to get to the fun part of the game, you guys. You're fucking, don't make me do all this bug hunter bullshit. Get her dick! There he goes.
Oh, I missed one over by Trent,
Son of a bitch!
as we call him. There's 2 over by Trent, actually. Yeah, in the house.
I really do hope the next Zelda is as awesome as it's looking from its demos.
Yeah. Well,
I'm okay with its art style. It's not my ideal, but like I'm okay. I think that they kind of finally found the medium that is okay with.
Well,
both
and
camps.
again, it's been so long. I mean, they showed like
Yeah,
30
it's like who knows.
They showed
what-
like 10 seconds in December, which was like just the same thing again.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's been so long since we've had a real proper looking at that game. It could, who knows? Especially when since it's gonna be on the next console too. It could look nothing like it.
Well, it's like even though if they do go with that art style, I'm okay with it.
I think it's
Like
fine.
I think it's unique as well.
Yeah.
It's got its own look. It's if that's what their goal is to set like a new look for Zelda that is Zelda
Yeah.
that no other game quite looks like. I think they've achieved it.
It actually looks fairly Asian. Some of the designs in the new Zelda.
Yeah, and I mean the use of color was really well done. The shading was well done. It's cartoony enough, I think, to satisfy the people who do like the cel-shaded Toon Link look, and I think it's also realistic enough to satisfy the people who prefer Twilight Princess look.
And I think you know what I don't. At some point, they're gonna realize that honestly, like, yes, you can love Toon Link as much as you want. It's not going to sell.
Right.
Brought a couple of Reese's if anybody wants.
Hell yeah, I want some Reese's. Oh. But like, what they've said and what they've shown about the gameplay, I like. And it's cool because I've not been excited about a Zelda game since Twilight Princess came out. The last Zelda game I was excited about was this. And that was a fucking long time ago.
Yeah. 333 viewers. That is awesome, guys. Thanks for hanging out.
Loading.